Day 4. Identify your triggers. Have you ever reacted strongly to something small and later wondered why did that affect me so much? Today, we are learning how to identify those triggers before they control our behavior. Welcome to Day 4 of Becoming Extraordinary. I'm Nimesh Kwinkel, author of Become Extraordinary in 60 Days, a practical daily playbook designed to strengthen your career, mindset, habits, and personal growth. I lead CloudPro AI, an AI and technology consulting company, along with Data2Insights.ai, an agentic AI data infrastructure platform helping businesses turn fragmented data into actionable insights. Yesterday, we talked about naming our emotions. Today, we are going one step deeper. We are asking what activated that emotion in the first place. A trigger can be a word, action, delay, memory, person, or situation that creates an emotional reaction. And here's something important. Your trigger is the cue. Your reaction is the habit. And if you repeat the same reaction enough times, your brain begins to automate it. Someone criticizes you, you defend yourself. Someone ignores you, you withdraw. Something becomes uncertain. You try to control everything. The pattern becomes fast, sometimes so fast that you don't even notice you are doing it. Triggers are like habit cues. Think about how habits work. You see your phone light up, that's a cue. You reach for it almost automatically. Emotional reactions can work the same way. A certain situation becomes the cue, then comes the reaction. For example, cue, your boss says, "We need to talk." Your mind immediately creates a story. Something is wrong, or I made a mistake, I might lose my job. Your body reacts before you even know what that meeting is about. Or someone doesn't reply to your message. The actual event is simple. No reply yet, but your interpretation may become they are ignoring me, or they don't respect me, they don't care. The trigger itself is not always the problem. The automatic meaning we attach to it is often what creates the emotional intensity. Here is today's first principle. Separate the event from the story. Someone interrupts you, that's the event. They never respect me, that's the story. Your manager asks for changes, that's the event. They think I'm incompetent, that's the story. Someone changes plans, that's the event. I can't depend on anyone. That's the story. Now the story may sometimes contain truth, but you still want to examine it because your mind can take one moment and connect it to years of previous experiences. Think of your emotional system like a smoke alarm. Sometimes there is a real fire, and sometimes you simply burn the toast. The alarm does not always know the difference. It just recognizes something familiar and sounds the warning. Your job is not to ignore the alarm. Your job is to ask what is actually happening right now. Your reaction often tells you what matters underneath. Defensiveness may be protecting your sense of competence. Anger may be protecting respect. Control may be protecting safety. People-pleasing may be protecting belonging. Withdrawal may be protecting you from rejection. So when you feel triggered, instead of immediately asking what's wrong with them, also ask, what am I trying to protect right now? Maybe it's your reputation, your sense of control, or your identity as a smart person. You need to feel appreciated. This is where self-awareness becomes powerful. Because when you understand the real need, you have more choices. You don't have to automatically defend, attack, escape, or shut down. You can respond to the actual need. Build a better response habit. Habit becomes easier when we decide the response before the situation happens.
So create a simple rule. When X happens, I will do Y. For example, when I receive criticism, I will ask one question before defending myself. When someone interrupts me, I will finish my thought calmly instead of raising my voice. When I receive a message that makes me angry, I will wait 10 minutes before replying. When I feel left out, I will ask for clarity instead of creating a story. When something becomes uncertain, I will identify what I can control before trying to control everyone else.
You are replacing an automatic emotional habit with a more intentional one. And every time you practice that response, you are strengthening a new pattern.
Small response. repeated consistently. Different identity instead of becoming someone who says, I have a bad temper. You begin becoming someone who can say, I am learning to stay composed under pressure. Identity matters because eventually you start behaving in ways that match the person you believe you are becoming.
Why this matter for success?
Triggers become especially important in your career because professional life constantly challenges your identity. Someone questions your idea, someone else gets promoted, a customer complains, an employee disagrees, a project fails, your boss gives difficult feedback. The strongest professional isn't the person who never feels emotion, it is the person who can feel the emotion without immediately becoming controlled by it. Imagine two leaders receiving criticism. One immediately explains why everyone else is wrong. People eventually stop giving that leader honest feedback. The other leader feels defensive too, but instead says, my first reaction is to defend this. Let me make sure I understand your concern. That is emotional maturity. Same discomfort, different habit. And over time, that difference builds trust.
Today, create a simple trigger map. Think of 3 moments when your emotions changed quickly. For each one, write trigger, what actually happened, story, what did I tell myself it meant, emotion, what did I fear, reaction, what did I want to do, attack, defend, withdraw, please, control, escape, need. What was I trying to protect? Respect, safety, approval, competence, or belonging? Better response. What could I do next time that I would respect tomorrow? Don't try to fix everything today. Look for one repeated pattern, one reaction, one better response. Small changes become powerful when repeated.
Take 6 minutes today. Choose a mild trigger. Not something traumatic, just something uncomfortable. Notice what happens in your body. Then ask, what happened? What story did I create? What am I feeling? What am I trying to protect? And finally, what would the person I want to become do next?
Then breathe and repeat. I noticed the reaction. I didn't have to act immediately, so I can choose my next response. That small pause interrupts the old pattern and gives you the opportunity to build a new one. So today's extraordinary commitment is I recognize my triggers without giving them control. I separate what happened from the story I created, and I practice responses that reflect the person I want to become. And remember, your triggers can explain your reactions, but they don't have to control your decisions. Awareness identifies the cue, practice changes the response, and repeated responses eventually shape who you become. I'll see you tomorrow for day 5 of Becoming Extraordinary. Thank you for listening.